Hi, Anika. Welcome. Now we're nearly getting there. I don't know, we might wait a couple of minutes and see if more people join us, but we're nearly ready to kick off anyway, I think. Welcome, Pamela O'Brien. Yes, Julie, you should say Diachet. All right. So, welcome everybody to the EU Code Week 2021 Hackathon. So, the venue is open. You're all welcome to join. We won't go too fast, and we will explain things for people who perhaps haven't used Discord before and things like that. So we will go through a couple of things. There's lots of channels on your left-hand side. You can look there and Some of those channels you may be allowed into, and some of them you may not be allowed into. But there are mentors, excuse me, there's organizers and myself, of course, lots of people here who will help you. So you can also throw messages into almost any of the chats and they'll pop up. And I'd be absolutely sure someone will pop in and give you a hand. So um, just in terms of welcoming you all, before we go any further, I would very much like to introduce you, and I would be pretty sure that she is ready. I would very much like to introduce you to Ms. Anika Pofantis, and she is the head of the European Commission EU Code Week. So she will give you a few words. So can I turn you over to Anika?
But she's not in the speaker's room, right?
Ah, yes. So okay. So we'll wait one moment. She will be joining us in a moment. I'm sure that she's saying hello to lots of other people, so she will join us here in the speaker's room in just a moment. Ah, so just before that, actually, before Nika joins us and tells you a few words, I suppose I can tell you a few words just about myself. So my own name is Chris Reyna. I will be your MC for today and for tomorrow. So my job here is to kind of gently guide you through everything that's going on, to give you some information, to help you out if you need any help, to get questions answered for you. You can always message me. I'll be bouncing back and forth between the different rooms, different channels, the text chats, and things like that. If you just type into any of the chats an @ symbol and CHRIS, my name should pop up and I'll get a message directly to me and I can help you or I can guide you to somebody who can. So, just a little bit about myself. I'm a third of a company called MakerMeet IE. We are based in Ireland and we do, I suppose, we do maker-led STEAM-based project workshops all around Ireland. So we generally, before the pandemic, we would go into your school and we would do a STEAM workshop of some sort with you. So as I say, for the moment, I will, no, Anika hasn't joined me yet, so that's okay. So for the moment, what we'll do is I'll just show you a couple of quick things, right? Or tell you a couple of quick things, and then I'll go on and show you some stuff. So just first, to let you know, today and tomorrow are all about, this is the first leg of the hackathon. So between today and tomorrow, we have a number of teams here. I have a list of teams here, and you all will be competing against each other. And kind of there will be a second leg of the hackathon, but that won't happen until later in the autumn. And again, I'll put up kind of a slide. You'll see that later on. We have a timeline and things like that just to show you what's happening. So you may or may not be used to what we're going to do. But as I say, don't worry too much because there's lots of people here to help you. And further to that, there's going to be some workshops as well, some ideas generation workshops and things like that in order to help you along. So a little bit of another thing is in terms of what you're going to do, there is a points system. And again, I have a slide for this. I'll show it to you and explain it to you in a little bit of time, but probably not quite yet. So just before we go any further, of course, pardon me, I would like to thank our sponsors because our sponsors, clearly you guys couldn't be here. I couldn't be here. None of us could be here if it weren't for the sponsors. So these are our sponsors here. So the EU Code Week here in Ireland has been sponsored by Google, by Microsoft, by Imagilabs, and by Red Hat. So I would be quite sure you'd be very familiar, of course, with Google and Microsoft. You may be a little bit less familiar with Imagilabs, but I would recommend that you go to their website and have a look at their products. And you may or again may not be familiar with Red Hat, but I would certainly guess that you may have used Red Hat at some point in the past, and will almost certainly use them at some point in the future. So let's see where are we at now. Yeah, lots of people are appearing now. Yes, of course, in terms of Irish time. So we have Gangstapoods, apparently. CD, the OK Doctor. Lots of people have appeared here. Okay, so welcome to everybody. Okay, welcome to everybody. Let's see, who else do we have here? Okay. How has appeared. Welcome, How. Okay. Now. Sinead Holmes, welcome. So there's a couple of other things I can tell you just again before we move on and before we get started. So one of those is just in terms of GitHub. I'm sure you've all heard of GitHub, whether you may have used it or not. So as part of the challenge, ultimately, you will need to upload some files and things like that to GitHub. So in terms of that, you will need to have a GitHub account. And again, do not worry too much. There's people here who can help you with that. A lot of the mentors certainly will have used GitHub before and can show you how to upload files to that and what files need to go in the correct places. And this is because the judges will be pulling some of that data from GitHub in order to look at it. Because obviously we are all in different locations around the world. Rather unfortunately, we can't be together in the same venue. So depending on where all of you are based, we actually, in terms of EU Code Week, we are quite European and quite international. We have people here from many, many different countries, certainly from Ireland, but from Brussels, Belgium, lots and lots of other different places as well. So you can look in terms of GitHub, you can look towards perhaps creating an account. So if you or one of your team members or your teachers are there, they could create a GitHub account with that. Blueberry Boo, welcome. Fantastic. So a couple of other things just to run through. I can run through the program in just a minute, but I think it's probably worth going through some of these things first, even before we go much further. And I'm jumping ahead of myself a little bit here, but I think it's probably worth doing. And that is just, this is kind of, I know, the terribly boring kind of things that need to be done. And those are some of the rules. I see, sorry, my apologies. I may take all of that back. I won't jump ahead of myself, actually. So I do see that Anika has joined us. So she may have a few words.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I had some problems connecting, but now I'm here. I'm so happy to see you. And I also managed to Google Jiahut, maybe something like that. Hello
Good,
in
very
Gaelic.
good, excellent.
Yeah, so I'm super excited to be here. I'm the lucky person who gets to coordinate all of Code Week for the European Commission. And as you know, we are surrounded with digital technologies and code. I mean, this morning the phone woke me up. I read the news online. I'm working in front of the computer from home. Of course, I Googled Jahut. I saw a video how to learn that. That would not have been possible when I was 16. Let me tell you that. Of course, I'm sure my kids and you as well will play lots of games. Maybe not tonight, but mine will, and hopefully do some homework. And maybe my husband and I will watch stream films or something. What I want to say is that digital technologies are all around us, as you know, and everything starts with a line of code. And most of us, I would say, with the exception of you who are taking part in this hackathon, are completely unaware of how this works. So Code Week is about empowering people, making them interested in digital technologies and helping them understand how algorithms work, how, what happens behind the screen, behind the phones and computers. We want people to understand also how you can create things and build things with code. Not necessarily to make you all professional programmers, although there is a huge demand for ICT and digital experts on the labor market everywhere in Europe. But to get more knowledgeable and understand that you have the power at your fingertips right now. So my whole involvement in Code Week started, actually, I brought my son to a Coder Dojo because these Code Week ambassadors, they talk too much about Code Week. And he programmed a little game, in Scratch. He was like 8 years old. He obviously got this much faster than I did. But what I could see is a little twinkle in his eyes where he actually understood that he could do something with the game, with the computer, not only consume it, not only play and okay, he wasn't on any social media then. And I think that's really important to show that you can do something, that you are empowered as kids or as older people. So Code Week is a movement that's run by volunteers. You have Julie Power and Pam O'Brien, who are ambassadors in Ireland. And we also have a group of teachers, leading teachers, we call them, who help us share their experience and knowledge with other teachers. Normally, Code Week focuses on activities in schools. And last year, we were very happy. We had 72,000 activities going on in 80 countries involving 3.4 million people. And that was despite the pandemic. In Ireland alone, there were like 123 activities. And most of the kids were quite young, so around 11 years old. This year, the European Parliament has given us the opportunity to organize hackathons in 6 countries. So you're one country. We had a hackathon last weekend in Romania, and we have 4 more to go in Greece, Italy, Slovenia, and Latvia. And what we really want to show is that, or we actually want you to show, that you can come up with concrete solutions to challenges that our societies face. Well, with the help of your creativity, enthusiasm, and coding skills, of course. So I hope you will have a really, really good time. And we're super interested to hear and see what you come up with tomorrow. And hopefully we'll maybe meet face-to-face in the autumn for those of you who go on to the final. And hopefully we will, have a physical hackathon in September or October. So with this, I would like to thank you for taking part, the Code Week ambassadors, the mentors, the jury, the moderator, Chris, and of course, the hackathon team that is working behind the scenes. I should also thank our partners, Google, Microsoft, and Red Hat. Thank you so much. And to all of you young participants, remember you have superpowers. And if you ever want to share them, you are most welcome to organize Code Week events. Just speak to Julie or Pam. Thank you very much. Have a good time. Bye.
That's amazing, Anika. Thank you so very, very much for that. That's lovely. So that was quite good, I feel, and quite inspiring as well too. And I would echo everything that Anika said there, because definitely in terms of things, becoming a superhero or a coding superhero is now easier than it ever was before, with the amount of information available online. Never mind the amount of information that you can get from people like Anika and all of the mentors, and most certainly your teachers as well. So in terms of that, a couple of things now. I will move on to kind of giving you, I suppose, a quick layout of what's going to happen today and the timeline for that, things like that. So we can share these with you as well. But just to give you, look, I'm sure all of you know how to screenshot. You're welcome to screenshot this if you like. So the first thing is, I'll throw that up there. And that is that backwards? No, that should be fine, I think. So
Fine, it's fine, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So here we go. Look, I despise reading off of a slide, but there you go. We'll do that anyway. So yeah, we've certainly opened the venue, and now we are in the process of giving you introduction, welcome, and the hackathon, and this is the program. When we finish this, we are going to move on to the challenge, and you will find out what the challenge is going to be. After I tell you what the challenge is going to be, then you're going to start to do some work. At kind of the same time, because you're obviously all in teams, there will be what's called like a parallel skills workshop. And that workshop, you don't need to worry too much about, but I definitely recommend you attend. Another way to look at that workshop would be as an ideas generation workshop. So that workshop will, you can have that workshop, and that's where you can start to come up with ideas. You can listen to what other people say, you can listen to suggestions, clearly come up with your own ideas, of course, and things like that. So that will finish at about 3:15. At that point, then, I would highly advise you to jump into the channels on the left and maybe have a chat with some of the mentors. There's lots of mentors there, and just get some ideas from the mentors as well. They'll certainly give you some clues as to what can happen. Now, again, not all of you necessarily need to jump into that workshop in your team, but if you would definitely, I would say one or two perhaps of your team, depending on the size of your team, can jump into that workshop, while some of the other ones can start to bat around some ideas and things like that as well. And then that will finish at around 3:30. And then from 3:30 to 4:00, we will be joined by James Welton. And James Welton is one of the co-founders of Coder Dojo. And James Welton is Irish and from Cork. So he will be coming on, and he'll have a chat with you as well. And then we'll finish up today at 4:00. Of course, not least of all, because I'm sure you're catching buses and cars and cycling and things like that just to get home from school, because I know that you're all in school. And at that point, probably you'll be quite ready to get out into the sun. And wherever you are, I hope it's sunny. Here, I'm looking out my window here, and it's beautifully sunny out here at the moment. So that's kind of just the schedule for today. I would, just as a quick word of advice, and you can, I'm sure that your teachers will tell you this as well, and they will guide you. But in terms of all of you working together as a team, it's really important for this particular challenge. And yes, I do know what the challenge is, but it's very important for this particular challenge to divide yourselves into all of your strong points within your team, and get some of your team members to listen to the workshops. Other team members work on maybe some of the design and some of the code and things like that. So you can then come back together and you can get lots of work done. So that's day one. Okay, so that will be today. And I can show you then tomorrow, day two, would be very similar. Okay, obviously we'll be starting a little bit earlier. So first thing in the morning when you log on, the mentors will be available for you, and you can have a quick check-in with the mentors to see maybe if you did some work overnight. Then you can have a chat with some of the mentors. They can advise and guide you. At that point, what we will be doing is they will then go to 9:20, as you can see there. Everybody can go to a pitching workshop. So as part of your challenge, you will be presenting your pitch, and your pitch is part of the challenge. And clearly this is not a pitch like in sport, but this is a pitch in terms of one person standing up and presenting your challenge to the judges. Okay, so that workshop will be quite important to attend, right? Be quite important to attend. After that, you're going to be working at that point all the way up until 12:00. At 12:00, time is up, and that is the end of you doing some work. Then between 12:30 and 2:30, basically all of the pitches will happen. Okay, so all of the pitching will happen between 12:30 and 2:30. And then at 2:30 to 3:30, there will be some mini challenges, tiny little challenges. And it would be a good idea for all of you just to chat to each other, and even the teachers to chat to the other teachers to see where everybody is. And then at 3:30 is the award ceremony. At that point, you will all find out how you did, how you got on, and who will go through to round 2. That will run on until 4 o'clock, in which case the virtual venue will close and the hackathon will finish for this leg of the hackathon. But that will obviously then continue in the autumn after that. So I'm just going to do a bit more because where are we on time? We're nearly at 2:30 now. So that's not too bad. We are perhaps running over just a little bit, maybe just a little bit. But I have a couple of things just to show you very quickly. And one of them I was going to do just before Anika joined us. And that was, and look, I know it's terribly boring and we shouldn't have to tell you, but it is quite important to tell you this. And these are just the kind of rules and things like that. I won't bore you to death with all of them, but I would ask, and I'm sure that you know these anyway, the essential part of all of these is while you're working and while you're in this virtual area and online, we would ask that you be respectful to everybody. Okay. And I think that you probably know this anyway, but nonetheless, let's put up those and you can have a look. Okay. So in terms of all of these rules, okay, you can read them there. I'm sure that you don't need me to read them out to you, but quite clearly, okay, it all comes down to being respectful to each other. Okay, being respectful to each other. And obviously, you are not to copy anybody else's work. Okay, that is also, of course, quite important, that you can't copy anybody else's work. You can't, there's no cheating, clearly. Okay, again, I would hope that we wouldn't have to tell you that. Okay, but I suspect that you know that anyway. All right. The other thing is, in terms of that hacking skills and the skills that you have, and this includes using Discord as well. Okay, you can't hack Discord. Well, it's an app or an online thing anyway. But in this particular instance, and probably for this particular challenge, what you'll be doing, which I'm not going to tell you quite yet, in just a moment, but quite yet, what you will be doing, okay, won't really be what many people consider hacking, which is breaking into other people's computers and things like that. In this particular instance, that is not what it is. Okay, it isn't that at all. So in terms of that, I think you're going to know that anyway, so that's all right. And in terms of the original, yeah, and again, just as you can see, look, again, you can read what's on the screen there. Anything anybody says to you that you find bad or offensive or things like that, just tell one of the mentors or tell one of the organizers as well too, and we will pass that on to the correct people and have a chat with them about that. But it would be worth saying that, you know, any sort of thing like that really won't be tolerated, I'm afraid. And we would probably have to kick you out, okay, if that sort of stuff happens. But then I do also believe that you know that. So that's okay. Now, so I'll just jump back here. So those are the rules, okay, as I'm sure that you know. So in terms of that, look, it's nearly just 2:30 now. So in order to try and keep things running happily on time, okay, because I've talked over a little bit, I think, right? I've talked over a little bit. I'm going to just quickly jump over kind of introducing Discord and how that works and the channels and things like that. I think probably you'll get a very, very good idea of how it works. So one of the important things to tell you anyway is that each of your channels, okay, that you can see there, are locked down. So what I mean by that is someone from another school cannot come and jump into your channel to see what you're doing. They won't be allowed in. We have all of you already separated into your individual schools. If there's for some reason that you can't get into your school, by all means, again, let us know. We can arrange that. It's only a matter of permissions on a particular side. Okay, but there can be nobody who can jump into someone else's channel just to see what they're doing and working on. All right. So I've shown you all of that. While you're working, okay, the final thing is while you're working and working on your things, you're in your own classrooms. No doubt you're there with computers. We would, I suppose, maybe not advise you, but we would ask that if you're on social media, go ahead and share what you're doing. Okay, it's good for yourselves, it's good for your school, it's a bit of fun, and clearly ensure that you have permission first. But these are the hashtags and everything to use. Okay, so as you can see there, if you're on Twitter, you can use at EU Code Week EU and at EU Code Week IRL for Ireland, obviously. If you're on Facebook, you can use at Code EU. And if you're on Insta, you can use at Code Week EU. And in the Discord channel as well itself. So on Discord, if you have any images and things like that, we would also ask that you share them with us, with EU Code Week in Ireland, because we can use some of them as well, and it would be really great to see what you guys are doing. So there is a channel there called Share Your Picture. And you can just, if you take a picture, you can upload it to there to share your picture. Okay, so you might just use some of those, and again, just do tag all of us there. Okay, and that way everybody can see it. Now, so moving swiftly, there we go, moving swiftly on. All right, now, just so to give you enough time, okay, to start to work on the challenge a little bit today. So we have a workshop coming up in just about 15 minutes. Okay, so that's not bad. That gives me a little bit of time to tell you the challenge. Okay, so this is what you will be doing. This is what you'll be working on and what you will have the next 24 hours to do. And that 24 hours is between now and tomorrow. Now, clearly, you don't have to work on this at home. However, you may work on it if you wish amongst your school. Okay, so if you want to chat about things after we finish here, you can do that. If you need to work a little bit more, you can chat to your teachers. It will be up to your teachers how much they can engage with you as well. All right, so without further ado, let's give you the challenge. Now, are you ready? Here we go. So the challenge is this: how can you create a solution that will integrate different nonprofit and voluntary organizations in your local community under a single digital hub? And a digital hub does not have to be exactly a physical building, but could be an app. It could be a physical building. It could be any of these types of things, okay? So your task over the next 24 hours is this. You have to create the concept and you must build a prototype of that. Now, again, we don't mean a building, clearly, but probably an app. Given the amount of time that is available to you, okay, as in 24 hours only, it is just expected to be a prototype. It isn't expected that you would have a finished product. Clearly, because there probably really just won't be enough time for all of that to happen. However, there's two aspects. So the first one is you have to create the concept and you have to present the concept. And you really need to know everything about that concept. So that will require your team to chat about what would work, what won't work, the sort of fail points that may happen, and the bonuses for that. And as well as that, you also need to have some sort of a prototype. Okay, you do have to have some sort of a prototype. All right. So tomorrow, just one member of your team is going to have 5 minutes to pitch your solution to the judges. After that, the judges or the jury will have 5 minutes to ask you questions. So that's why I'm telling you, you have to be prepared to answer questions. And your solution does need to be a digital product. Now, it doesn't, again, as I say, it does not necessarily have to be an app, but given the amount of time available, probably an app is the best way to go at the moment. Okay. And as always, in any contest, the jury's decision, of course, is going to be final. Okay. The judge's decision, of course, will be final. So there are some details that you probably have already that you should have, or your teacher should have a document called the Presentation of the Irish Challenge.pdf. And that explains in it, in more detail, the points system and the scoring and things like that. Okay. And it will give you and your team and your teachers more information. But just to summarize here quickly, this is the criteria that you will be judged on. There will be 6 categories. Those are proof of concept. That is worth 30 points. There will be relevance. That is worth 25 points. There will be innovation, which is worth 20 points. There will be the UI, or the user experience, user interaction, which is worth 15 points. There will be your pitch itself. The 5-minute pitch itself is worth 10 points. And then there will be a few mini challenges. Okay, there will be a few mini challenges, and they will be worth the 5 points as well. Okay, so the clever amongst you, I'm sure, can tell that you will work up to 100 points, but you may not get 100 points. So therefore, that's why some of the mini challenges are there. They are worth 5 points. Okay, so those mini challenges are worth 5 points. Okay, so as I say, in the document, there is a PDF document, and I'm sure we can share it again if it needs be. But in that PDF document, there will also be, okay, a better explanation of each of those areas. Okay, of each of those areas. All right, so now, right, let's see. All right, so in terms of that now, so I'm going to just open up the floor for a few minutes, because I know sometimes my explanations aren't always clear. So I would ask if anybody had any questions, fire them out there now, and I am ready to answer them, and I'm sure other people are also ready to answer them. So bear with me for one moment. Sorry, I've been corrected here. My apologies. The Twitter handle, my apologies. The Twitter handle is actually CodeWeekEU. My apologies for that. The Twitter handle is CodeWeekEU. And you can use the hashtag just CodeWeek, hashtag CodeWeek as well. Okay. So my apologies for that. So if anybody has any questions, throw them up there now. Let's see. Okay, now let's just see here. Okay. So does anybody have any questions? I see a lot of things there, but there aren't actually any questions, at least none that I've seen yet anyway. Okay. Okay, I'm just looking there. Nope, I don't see anybody with any questions yet. Anyway, that's fine. All right. Well, if nobody has any questions, that's great. So let me move on and let me introduce the mentors now. Okay, let me introduce the mentors. Okay, and they'll be the ones that you'll be able to interact with again in Discord and the chat. So you can ask them all questions. Okay, they're all terribly nice people, so don't be shy. I would highly recommend that that's where you go in order to get more information, in order to complete the challenge. Okay, because those mentors will be the ones who, in fact, given their titles, will in fact be mentoring you, and they are here. Their specific job is to help you and ask you questions. They can't give you answers, but they can guide you certainly in that direction. So, can I, if we have, I think we have a number of mentors here with us already. So, I'm just going to check and see who do I have here first. So I throw out the mentors there in the jury and the judges, and if you're a mentor or a judge, you might just pop, if you would, into the speakers room, and then you might say a few words about yourself, tell us who you are and what you do, because I don't know all of you. I certainly know some of you. I know some of you more than I'd like to know some of you, in fact. But certainly please pop in there. And, oh, speakers channel, great. There's a few of you there already. So now I was looking for Anne Lewin. I don't see Anne Lewin there. Anne Lewin Dunn. Is Anne Lewin Dunn with us?
No, Alan and Murph are going to be later here.
Oh, that's fine. Okay. Florian, you are there, however. So
yeah, I can can introduce myself maybe quickly. Hi, guys. So my name is Florian. I'm a solution architect for Red Hat in Ireland. As you can hear clearly from my voice, I'm originally from Germany and not from Ireland. So don't speak Gaelic to me or do not attempt it, because I will not be able to answer otherwise, but English should be fine. So I'm actually a fairly recent graduate, a couple of years ago. I've graduated in Germany and in Ireland, and I'm working now in Ireland as a solution architect. So that means I'm basically building IT solutions for a lot of the big banks, insurance companies, and other big enterprises in the country. And since all of our technology is built on freely available code, that everyone can just download, it's quite interesting because there's so many people that use code from Red Hat for a lot of different projects. So it's quite exciting to be in Ireland and work with so many different partners, customers, and software engineers. So maybe some of you in the future will be one of these people I'm going to be working with, and I would be absolutely delighted if you were to go down that path in that direction. So yeah, the other two are Anlan and Murph. They are both also solution architects. Murph is our chief architect in Ireland with about 20 years of experience. Anlan has 15 years of experience, and they're just unfortunately in a meeting right now. So they will be joining later and will be available.
Great stuff. That's brilliant. Thank you very much for that. That's much appreciated. And I would back that up as well too. I suppose it would be worth noting that coding in general sometimes, not always, but sometimes follows a bit of a path. And most people start off doing block-based coding and then move to text-based coding. And certainly, all the guys in Red Hat, I think, are probably doing a lot of text-based coding. And what's often mentioned, and I hope I'm not wrong in this, Florian, but what's often mentioned is after Red Hat is usually Red Hat Linux in terms of that, just because people are familiar with Linux but may not always be, unfortunately, familiar with Red Hat. So listen, it's great to have you guys there, and I can assure you I'll be I'm going to pull you aside every now and then and ask you a couple of questions about my Raspberry Pi and things like that, and see how we get on, and various other Linux distros as well, and reasons why things don't work in them sometimes. So thank you for that again, Florian. Much appreciated. So I think could I call on Mrs. Isolt Mangan to give us a few words? She's generally very shy, but she might be able to tell us something.
Hi, can you hear me? Yeah, super. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Isolt. I am a primary school teacher, and I have been mentoring with a group called Teen Turn, who mentor, I suppose, young girls here in Ireland to take part in STEM events. So I will be with you guys tomorrow morning delivering a pitching workshop. So if you want to get all those marks for those pitch presentations, join in with me, and hopefully we'll get a chance to go through them. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing everything that you guys come up with. And best of luck, everybody.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Isolt. That's fantastic. And I can definitely assure you, I have met Isolt upon occasion, and she would be an excellent mentor to go to get some information from. Kevin, I don't think we have Kevin with us. Kevin Flagon. Kieran, don't think we have. Yeah. Oh, we do have Kevin. My apologies. My apologies.
Hello.
My apologies.
Hi guys, I'll keep it really short. I'm Kevin. My background is in computer and electronic engineering. So if you have any programming or coding questions, let me know.
Brilliant. You're dead right. And excellent. Thank you for that, Kevin. We'll be looking forward to that as well too. What kind of coding do you do, Kevin, if you don't mind my asking?
Yeah, of course. I'm working with a robotics company at the moment. So we use a bunch of different languages. C for most of the hardware stuff, and then Python and a little bit of HTML, that kind of stuff.
Fantastic. That's really good. Yeah, that's great because it's worth exploring. It's worth knowing that, I suppose, for the students, so that they know who to go to depending on what they're interested in or what kind of code they're going to use and that sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's great. Thank you very much. Cheers. All right. Who do we have? Let's see. Do we have Kieran there? Do we have Kieran Collins? Don't see Kieran Collins. All right. So I don't see Kieran. So could I call on Matthew Hanlon, sir?
Yeah. Hey there, guys. I'm Matt Hanlon. I'm a longtime software engineer. I worked for Apple for a really long time over in Cupertino, working on products you probably have in your pocket or underneath your TV. And now I'm here in Ireland, and I teach coding to teachers, to adults, to kids. And I'm really psyched to get this hackathon kicked off.
Cool, that's great. Yeah, you and I need to have a chat as well too, because I know we were messaging each other earlier, and I'm an ACT myself as well, and yeah, I deployed iPads to lots of schools. Some of the ones I'm sure some of the students are here today. I probably put an iPad into their hands, I suspect. Yeah, we'll have a chat later. Excellent. What are your languages of choice?
I've been doing a lot with Swift lately. Obviously, I know a lot of Objective-C. I don't know that we're going to be doing a lot of that, but like I can help out with any Java, Ruby, Python. I've done quite a bit of all sorts.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's the kind of way it works, isn't it? That you get to a certain point and you start branching into all of them and doing a little bit of everything, because this works better here and this one, and this works better in this one, and how you put them together and then push them back out. Excellent. Yeah, looking forward to that. And looking forward to having a chat with you later on as well too. Thanks, Matt. Cheers. Very good. All right. So I know, as Florian said, Murph isn't around. So Nathan, you're there, I believe, are you? Could you tell us something about yourself, Nathan?
Hello. Hi. My name is Nathan Cowell. I'm happy to be here. So my background is actually in fine art and design, and I went into a postgraduate course in computers recently and graduated from that last autumn. So I can kind of help you with things like user interface design. That's like a particular interest for me, and usability, but also kind of things in terms of creative coding, if you're interested in that kind of stuff. I also have exposure to like languages such as Java and Python and HTML as well. So I'd be happy to help.
Great stuff. And in fact, I'd say you could find yourself in more demand than you realize, because I haven't worked in schools myself with students and things. An awful lot of the nuts and bolts code they can get their heads around, but in terms of UI and UX, that can sometimes be more difficult in creating your storyboard or your flow chart from one to the other. So yeah, you could be in big demand there, I suspect.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, great. Nice one. Delighted
Thank
to have
you.
you here. Good stuff. Cheers.
Bye.
All right. Now we're coming to the end. Last but absolutely not least by any stretch of the imagination, could I call on Roisin Faherty? If you're there, you might tell us some things.
Hi, Chris. How are you? Thanks a
There you
million.
go. No worries.
My name is Roisin, and I am a lecturer in TU Dublin in the computer science department. So I have exposure to a lot of the same languages that the lads have. So things like Python, Java, C, C++, HTML, CSS. I also do a lot of work with databases. So that's something that nobody else has mentioned yet and might be useful for the project for the students. So if there's any questions on that, I'd be more than happy to help out. I also do a little bit of work with a group called CS Inc. and we go around to schools and deliver camps, computer science camps to secondary schools, and in particular the Leaving Certificate students. So I don't know, there might be some people out there who have come across me before. But as I said, really excited about today and tomorrow to see what you guys come up with, and if I can help at all, happy to do so.
Brilliant
Thanks,
stuff. Yeah, thanks very much, Rashid. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's quite right. Databases. I always, I'm sure you may appreciate, but whenever I go to schools and I give talks, all the languages are interesting at some level to students. But certainly, when I start talking about databases, because I have a wee bit of experience in SQL and stuff like that as well, and even kind of going back even prior to that, but their eyes just glaze over right up until the point in which you explain when you buy a pair of shoes and it comes in different sizes and different colors and et cetera, and how Amazon works. And everybody, oh yeah, Amazon, of course. Well, yeah, well that's one of the most complicated databases on the planet. And people suddenly get very interested then. So yeah, that'd be great actually. Yeah, great to have database experience as well too. Very good.
Thanks a million.
Yeah, brilliant. Cheers. Thanks very much. All right. I think that has probably everybody that I need to introduce and things like that. So let's see. I think our next port of call, our next stop, is going to be very definitely starting to get to work. And the first thing that's coming along is going to be our workshop. Okay, it's coming along to be our workshop. So if everybody wants to just stay in the plenary channel, that workshop, I think I would be hoping will be beginning quite shortly. Okay. So again, this is the parallel skills workshop, or an idea generation workshop. So this is where you start to develop your ideas and things like that. Okay. So this is where you start to develop your ideas. So for people that are there, I would say there are many of you who are having coffee at the moment. Many of you are in the coffee corner at the minute. So I'm going to ask a lot of the students maybe to hop out of the coffee corner, if you would, and jump into the plenary channel. That's the very first channel at the very top on the left-hand side of Discord, okay? That's the very first channel there. So you might hop out of the coffee corner and into the plenary channel. And that workshop, I would say, give everybody maybe 30 seconds to a minute to jump out of the coffee corner there and jump into the plenary channel, all right? So guys, if you want to jump out of one and into the other, that workshop will start. And don't worry, you will have time afterwards to insult each other and to have a bit of a chat and a bit of crack. I spit on you. Yeah, Milos, take it handy there now, my friend. Take it handy. Okay. So yeah, folks, if you want to jump into the plenary channel, okay, jump into the plenary channel. And as always, if anybody has any questions, throw them into the chat. Ask one of the either ask one of the mentors or ask me or anybody that you see there. Certainly ask your teachers and jump in there. Okay, and we can answer your questions for you. Okay, good stuff. Yeah, so that workshop in there is going to start very shortly. Okay, guys, so do jump in there. This will